Hey, Kip's back. Good to see you,
Hi,
Kip.
guys.
How you doing? You holding down Chicago?
I am. Beautiful Chicago summer.
It is. It really is.
I missed you guys. You don't
We missed
write, you
you
don't
too.
call.
Actually, we talk every day on this show, and sometimes we mention you that we miss you. It's
No.
about the best we can do. Yeah. Someone got paid though, and it's breaking news basically right off the jump. So instead of lollygagging, I'm just going to throw right to it. So let's hit it. Minutes before the show, someone gets paid, and we're talking about it. FT breaking news, Roman Anthony finalizing a contract with the Boston Red Sox. It's an extension. He's under team control for a while, but now he's going to get $130 million. Breaking news from Jeff Passan. 8 years, $130 million on a contract extension. And Passan said the deal is pending a physical. It includes a club option. And it's going to keep Roman Anthony under team control through, wait for it, 2034. His deal with the Red Sox will start in 2026, so starting next year. It includes significant escalators. It could take the maximum value of the deal to $230 million, depending on where he finishes in AL Rookie of the Year voting. It would buy out either 3 or 4 years of free agency. That's based on that whole rule that goes down now with service time if you finish high up in some of the awards, like Rookie of the Year. AJ, your thoughts?
I love it. I love it for both sides. If they think he's a dude, and listen, how do you tell a 22? He's 22, right? 22-year-old kid. Don't take 130, could be 230 million. Sign me up. That's what I thought I agreed to with foul territory, but Scott took all the money, so I get 230 pesos per year.
That's because you're wrong, AJ. He's 21. He doesn't turn 22 until next May. That's how damn young he is, and now he's super rich.
Yeah, I mean, are you kidding me? He's from South Florida. He's going to be down there at Shisho, hanging out at Kip's restaurant, trying to get free meals, and Kip's going to say, I saw what you signed for. You're going to have to pay for that drink. So let's be serious here for a second. Dude,
He's not getting a discount.
Nobody on earth, okay, I don't care who you are, nobody on earth would say at 21 years old, hey, here's 130, could be 230 million. They're going to be like, let me see. I could cost myself maybe 7 to 10 million. No, I'm not going to take that. Bull crap. Everyone on earth should take this. That's stupid thinking.
Just to clarify, AJ, 7 to 10 million per season, not overall. I mean, he could make hundreds of millions of dollars. I get it. I'm just clarifying.
Dude, he'll be 29 when this gets done. 29 to 30. He can sign another 5-year deal at the end. So come on.
Yeah.
Like, no, nobody at this 21. If you had come to Kip at 21, he was still at Arizona State under Murph, eating pocket pancakes. I was in AAA in the big leagues. If they would have come to me and said, hey, here's an 8-year deal, it could have been for $8 million. I would have been like, yeah, I'll take it.
I think it's a win-win. This is we were talking about a little bit off air. This is kind of what Cleveland used to do. We're signing the guys a little bit younger. You're getting a little discount. They get the security. He gets to go out and play now and not worry about that anymore. And like AJ just said, he's going to be 30. He's going to be able to sign another big one too. So now he just cashed out some. He's guaranteed to make all that money now, which is awesome. Congratulations to him. And he gets to go and have some freedom and just go play loose now, which is great. And Boston gets a discount probably, assuming everything pans out.
Yeah, they get to lock in some of their youngsters. Hey, let's not forget one of the contract extensions that they figured out earlier this season. Not Crochet, that makes sense. He's been one of the best starters in baseball. But AJ, do you know where Christian Campbell is right now?
He is in Worcester, whatever, however the hell you say it, because it doesn't say what it's supposed to say. He's in Worcester, Mass. He's not in the big leagues. Yeah, I mean, they try to. He'll be back though. Listen, Christian.
I know. I'm not saying. I'm just saying that's the example of someone who can come up and then not play as well, get hurt, the whole deal, go down. I mean, you could delay your service time for multiple years. Once you sign these deals, the team is incentivized to have you up in the big leagues. I'm not saying that's going to be the case here with Roman Anthony. He already looks like one of the top on base guys, in addition to all the other tools that he has in the sport. But AJ, I mean, Christian Campbell took the league by storm, signs a $60 million contract. Right now, he's in the minor leagues, should be back up soon.
He's also older. He's also older than Roman Anthony. So, because he went to college. Roman Anthony was a high school guy. So let's be serious here. Roman Anthony, the deal that he signed, was it 6 years, 60? That's not breaking the Boston Red Sox. He'll be back up, and you know what? And I'm sure it's backloaded. I don't know the details, but I'm sure it's backloaded. So he'll go down AAA, figure it out. Let's not forget he changed positions. He was He was an outfielder, right? And he put him at second base. So he had a lot of things going on. He was in the big leagues first time, changing positions, all these different things. He'll figure it out. They'll make some changes to him. If he doesn't, this deal's not breaking the Boston Red Sox. 6 years for $60 million. I'm sorry, it's not. Roman Anthony, this year's not breaking the Boston Red Sox. But I think they've seen enough out of Roman Anthony where they're like, this dude's going to be a star. Let's sign him up, and I like it.
Yeah, I think it was 8 years, $60 million for Campbell, and then obviously we're talking about Anthony right now. I agree. The reason I brought it up is crap.
That's
happened.
like the Kingery. Remember Scott Kingery when he signed that deal with the Phillies, and he didn't do very well. Now he hasn't played in the big leagues in forever. But like that didn't break the Phillies. Jonathan Singleton signed that deal back in the day. Evan Longoria worked out. He signed before he made it to the big league. So I mean, come on, these deals don't break the big league clubs.
No, Kip, they're a big market team. This should end up being a huge bargain for them if he pans out to be one of the better players in the sport, and he was the top prospect in the sport 5 minutes ago.
That's what I'm talking about, though. It's a win-win for them. They get the discount, and Roman Anthony, listen, you're always one pitch away from, let's say, a fastball that hits the wrist or an injury or something just going off. So it's like he now gets to play freely. He doesn't have to worry about that, and Boston gets their guy for probably what looks like a big discount. If his stint so far in the majors is telling us anything, he looks good.
Yeah, and I think he's a front office dream because of the plate approach. It looks very mature right from the jump, and he's a big on-base guy right away here. And we know how front offices value that, AJ. We talk about it all the time. So the fact that he's already got that part of his game cranking, and right now in today's game it's so highly valued, it makes a front office drool.
Yeah.
No doubt. Can you walk? Can you get a hit? No, but can you walk? We love it. Well, sign us up.
You can do everything.
You can have great. What was the Jeff Passan tweet that Minkiewicz and him are still arguing about on Twitter, where the Yankees prospect had great plate decisions? You can not be able to hit, but you walk and you have great plate decisions. They'll sign you up because they're like, oh, we can teach him how to hit. Well, I disagree, but we'll see.
I do have to, a couple things. I want to finish on the Red Sox, then I want to bring up one of their rivals here. First off, do you like the core that's being built for Boston? Let's remember, this team hasn't been good for several years. Right now, they are rocking and rolling, and they did do a mini rebuild during the Chaim Bloom era, and then they picked up a ton of these guys that are working out. I know, but Bloom was given a job to rebuild, and most of the guys that he picked and that he acquired, I mean, he's got a lot of wins right now for the Red Sox. So, I mean, maybe a little thank you note from Sox fans.
He stunk, though, Kip. He stunk at his job. You know why he stunk? Because he drafted all these guys that they're now signing. He traded for a lot of these guys. He rebuilt. His job was to trade Mookie Betts and rebuild the farm system. He did both of those. And they're like, yeah, sorry, Chaim. You can go to St. Louis and try it now because he's going to try it under John Mozeliak. So the Cardinals are like, man, we might have a steal here because I don't know if you know Chaim at all, but I've talked to him a bunch of times. Some people don't like him, but I think he's great. I think he's awesome. And he's great at what he does, what he's supposed to do, which is he knows how to draft guys. He knows how to develop guys. He knows how to put together a big league roster.
Yeah, he's one of the better execs in the sport, in my mind. I do want to get on to the Orioles. So they're in the division. They have a good young nucleus, however you say it, core. Core is better. How many of their young players are signed to extensions? Anyone? I think we're back. We've got some freezing going on. Stick with us. Our tech system is not as strong as AJ or Kip. Just me for a moment. But what I wanted to say was, unless AJ is going to correct me, the Orioles have built up a nice young core. And you want to sign the guys that you think are going to be stars or big league regulars and very valuable parts of your team to long-term contracts early. That is the name of the game. It doesn't matter if you're a small market team or a big market team. Well, AJ, first off, I saw you put up a 1. Did I miss someone? Who signed up long-term?
JJ Hardy, Adam Jones, Tyler O'Neill.
Should I get Dan Duquette on line 1?
Tyler O'Neill? You forgot Tyler O'Neill.
That's a free agent 3-year contract. Get out of here. For the young core, Adley, Gunnar,
No, I
go
know.
down the line.
Here's the thing.
Westberg. Yeah.
All of them. All of them. I mean, they haven't done it. And now, do they look smart? I don't know. The one I would have gone after is Gunner. I would have said Adley, but Adley hasn't been great what we thought he'd be. He's been better the last month or so, but for about a year, he wasn't very good. So, and he doesn't catch every day. That's the thing that's interesting to me for an Adley extension. Adley doesn't catch every day. They use Austin Jackson a lot and the backup catcher a lot for a guy that's supposed to be a stud and catch every day. So, listen, do the Orioles get it right? I don't know, but I know this. Mike Elias is like, oh, well, if these guys don't work out, give me 5 more years like Derek Falvey did in Minnesota, and I'm going to trade them all away, and I will rebuild the crap out of this organization for a 5 more year contract.
5-year plan. But anyway, I mean, I think if you're an Orioles fan, you're jealous right now. Both of these teams went through rebuilds. The one for the Red Sox, I mean, technically was shorter, although it took them longer to get to this point where they're competitive again, right? The Orioles did a full-on teardown. I mean, it was tank city for a while there. And you do want to see some of the guys that you end up with signed to long-term contracts. So, Kip, before we lost it for a sec, that's the reason I bring up a team in the division and a fan base that is, at least this season, jealous of what Red Sox fans have, which is a playoff chance and some of their young core signed up long-term.
No, I'm sure that's what you guys were hinting on. Boston's rebuild looks great right now. The process has been sped up because these guys are playing. Not only are they playing well, but they're playing well during meaningful games. And this run that they've gone on since the beginning, where they struggled and they weren't really up yet. When you have the resurgence of the team matching the rookies coming up, it's a fun time to be part of that team.
I agree. AJ, what do you think of the team for this year? Obviously, we're excited about the core for the future. Do you think Roman Anthony can lead them to the postseason?
The way they're playing right now, yeah, and the way the Yankees are playing, yeah. I mean, I like where they're at right now. Listen, I think their pitching has been better than what we thought their pitching was going to be, led by Crochet, who's having an unbelievable year. We need to put him in the Cy Young discussion. They're only 3 games behind the Blue Jays, by the way, and they're in the first wild card. So I love where the Red Sox are headed. I think Alex Cora has done a nice job. I think their coaches have done a nice job, and I think, say what you want about Breslow, but the Bregman signing has worked out tremendously. Trevor Story has turned it around. I mean, moving Rafael to second base, the Toro, Romy Gonzalez first base thing, although we criticize it, has been nice. They found Narvaez behind the plate. Their outfield is good with Duran, Abreu. I like where they're at, and I think they're going to make the playoffs, and I think they could make a deep run if they get, Giolito keeps throwing like this, Garrett Crochet keeps throwing like this. I think that they can make a deep run because Chapman's been.
Lost you guys for a sec. There we go.
Yeah, we're thriving. All right. First of all, I just want to make sure I list everybody that they have extended too. I know we talked about Christian Campbell. That was this year, but Ceddanne Rafaela, I mentioned Garrett Crochet. Don't forget they did a deal with Brian Bayo as well. My nice and simple question here, why don't they do more of this? Not the Red Sox. Some teams are all over this, right? The Braves take this to the extreme, Kip, and then some teams barely touch this, and any team can offer extensions to players that have a year or less of service time, right? Like the cost long-term is something that any team can handle payroll-wise, truly. So why don't you think more teams do things like this? And what was your experience during your early career? Did you end up with one of these, or you turned one of these down? I don't remember.
Are you talking to me or AJ?
You, Kip. Did you do one of the longer term ones like early on?
Yeah. I think in my second full year, I signed a 6-year deal with a couple options to that one. I don't know why teams don't do it more. You kind of see it in more of a smaller market area. Those are the teams who usually have to do with it because they have to offer early to hopefully kind of get those nice team-friendly deals where they can save money. But I don't know why big markets haven't done it too, because they've always, I guess, just be like, we could cover it, we'll pay it. But it's smart business. I don't think any of these big market teams or any of these teams really have their tail between their legs on it not working out too many times to where it's like, okay, we got to stop doing it. It's shown to work at numerous occasions. So I actually am a little bit surprised why more teams have not done it already.
I think it's the same reason why some teams are less aggressive during the trade deadline. They're scared to make a mistake and get burned for it by their boss.
You can tell which teams sometimes have their tail between their legs from moves that backfired or something like that lines. But I think in terms of just like the fundamentals of the business proposition here that we're talking about, of offering them a young guy flashing a big number in front of their face, and hopefully he takes it when he might be worth more down the road, and the team gets the discount. Like it makes sense. I am kind of surprised it doesn't happen more often.
Yeah. All right. Well, good timing. Jared Carrabis has been on the schedule to join us, and he will join us to talk Sox and the Roman Anthony extension next on FT. FT fam, we often talk about HelloFresh, but we also talk about Green Chef for your wellness journey. Or if you're a little annoying like me and you need the gluten-free, or you've got a friend that's plant-based, or you're like, hey, I'm going with the protein-heavy approach. They've got it all on Green Chef.
Listen, the weekly meals they come with all the time, it's different, it's satisfying, and it's something you really want to do. I'm a guy that needs something healthy as I move forward. Can't be the chicken tenders and fries all the time. It's got to be those healthy meals that I need as I'm getting older.
Fresh, organic, seasonal produce, 100% responsibly sourced proteins to help you feel your best. Make this summer your healthiest yet with Green Chef. Go to greenchef.com/50territory and use code 50territory. Get 50% off your first month, then 20% off for 2 months with free shipping. That's code 50territory at greenchef.com/50TERRITORY. 50territory. We're back, and Jared Carrabis is going to join us in a moment. Jim Bowden's going to join us later. So this is actually a very timely guest crew to join us for the show today. So if you have questions for us, fire away. But the other thing I'll mention here from a detail standpoint is, looking for the tweet exactly, but this raises the floor for someone in this spot. So the last deal comp is Corbin Carroll. Let me see if I can pull it up quick enough. And Corbin Carroll was 8 years, 111. Bob Nightingale reporting 8 years, 111. Carroll signed as a rookie with the Diamondbacks in 2023. Roman Anthony, 8 years, 130. So there you go. I got to look at what the exact service time differential is, but it's probably pretty close because I think Carroll signed it after he had played maybe a month or two in the bigs that season before and then heading into the next season, but that was his rookie first full season. Why are you shaking your head?
Who cares what the service time is? 111, 130. I mean, yes, sign me up. Jackson Churio, 882, right? He was, 19 or 20 when he signed it?
He hadn't played in the bigs yet.
Dude, you cannot tell me at 21 years old, all these people that are like, he could get more, that at their job, whatever their job is, these people in the chat and in the Twitter world, at 21 years old, if somebody would have come to him and said, I'll give you 8 years, 130 million, every single person on that is on Twitter would have said, well, I might make 150. No, they would all taken it.
Yes.
I'd sign it before he finishes question.
8 years, 100. Okay, yes. Don't even get to the next part.
Jared Carrabis, perfect timing, and you can hear him, of course, on his Underdog pods and everywhere else. You can follow him, one of the best follows in baseball, at Jared_Carrabis. But really, Jared, we nailed it on timing with you. So your instant reaction to the Roman era continuing now for a very long time for a very team-friendly looking deal. What do you think?
Yeah, man, I was surprised by it. I didn't hear any little birdies talking about this one. This kind of came out of nowhere. I think out of all the big three prospects, Roman was expected to be the most difficult to sign. They already signed Christian Campbell coming into the year. Marcelo Meyer kind of looks like someone where it's like there's some injury concerns here. So out of the guys that you would want to give the bag to, hell of a job by Craig Breslow. And I heard you guys talking about the deal before, 130 million. It's like, could he have made more if he had waited to free agency? Absolutely. Is he going to be struggling financially? No, he's going to be just fine. Like it's the biggest pre-arb deal in baseball history. So yeah, they identified the player. They said, this is who we're going to commit to. And they paid the player. Like it couldn't have worked out better.
Jared, when you were 21 years old, if Carrabis would have come to you and said, change your name from Carrabis to Carrabis, would you have done it for 130 million? And for 8 years, would you have done that?
I would have done it for $130, AJ. I would have been like,
exactly.
You know what?
Thank you.
Thank you. Sure.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So for all the people out there complaining, there's nobody on earth that would have said no to this deal at 21 years old. You can't say no to this. I'm sorry. I don't care who you are. It's a great deal for the Red Sox. It's a great deal for Roman Anthony. And now, Jared, as you've been saying, you have the Roman Empire.
No doubt. And I think that's a big piece of it. I'm glad you brought that up, is that it's exciting that the players are seeing what the future can look like. And I know that, you know, at the end of the day, you can buy someone's friendship for $500 million. I'm sure it's up for grabs, but I think Roman's sort of looking around saying, I see the vision. I see that I'm the piece of this. I'm looking around and it's a very young team. A lot of the guys are locked up long-term, and it's, you know, what do you want your legacy to be? Do you want to be the guy that makes $500 million? Cool. Yeah, that's great. And it's a huge accomplishment. But do you also want to be the guy that builds something special and is a cornerstone of a championship core? That sounds pretty cool to me too, all while having over $100 million. Like, yeah, I'm signing up for that.
What has impressed you the most of Roman so far early on? I think, is it his plate discipline? Is it like he kind of has that almost vet feel in the box already, to where he's just not swinging at bad pitches and he kind of makes the pitcher come at him? What's impressed you so far the most?
Also, before I answer that, shout out April 3rd birthday boys in the house.
I thought so.
Yeah,
my man.
Yeah, both April 3rd birthday boys. What's impressed me most is the kid turned 21 this year, and I got to meet him when he was in AA, talked to him again in person when he was in AAA, and I've checked in a few times. Now he's in the big leagues. Same dude, like not overwhelmed. He had a walk-off the other night, and moment wasn't too big for him. He was like, I'd like to do that again. You know, like I want the guy that is labeled a superstar that wants the big moment. And, you know, I didn't play in the big leagues. I'm sure you guys can speak to this. There are guys that don't want to be up in that spot. They're like, I get the spotlight. No, I'm all set with that. He wants the spotlight. He wants the big market. His approach, I think, even when he started off a little slow, he never abandoned the approach that got him there. He stuck with it. All the numbers under the hood were suggesting, like the baseball savant page was pretty bloody. A lot of red on that page, even when the surface level numbers weren't looking good. He stuck with the approach that got him there. He wrote it out, and now, like, the surface level numbers are like, yeah, that's a dude that I want here long term.
Jared, all right. First of all, you were a heavy critic of the Devers trade. How's it look now? And we, including us, were heavy critics of Craig Breslow at the trade deadline, not doing a lot. How does that look now? Have you changed your mind on both those things?
Yeah, I don't think you or I, AJ, would ever sit here and be like, we're smart people. You know, like we make mistakes sometimes.
I'm smart. I make a lot of mistakes, but I'm still smart. I'm a smart ass and I'm smart.
I think with the Devers trade, I approached that as what would the room feel about this? And I was just off. Like I thought for sure that the room was going to be pissed. We just swept the New York Yankees and you traded the best hitter in our lineup. Like, what the hell? So I was pissed too, but then you sort of ask around, you talk to people as part of the job, you get the full context, and you come back down to earth. And it's like, if they're not up in arms about this and they're not upset about this, why am I upset about this? So it was a quick 18-hour window where you're piecing together what the information that you need to have the correct stance on it. And yeah, I was fired up at first, but then it didn't take long for me to be like, all right, if you're not mad, I'm not mad. Let's move on. Like, let's move on with the group we got.
Jared, what about the trade deadline for this team? Because I was not pleased with it. I'm not a Red Sox fan. I just talk about the game nationally. And if you think the team's good, then the best way to show that you're buying into the team is to pick up something that can be valuable in October, even if you think you can get there, right? And lately, I've had some Red Sox fans really coming after me on YouTube saying, you just hate them, you're rooting against them. No, I actually picked them to win the division. But Do I think that they have the October pitching staff to match up against some of what the other teams did? I do not. That's just real talk. What do you think?
So as it kind of relates to the trade deadline, I gave it an F. You know, like you were all in on Joe Ryan. You didn't get Joe Ryan, but it's similar to the Devers situation. You need the full context. What happened? I look at it two ways. I don't think the Twins had any interest in actually making the move. I think that they were gauging interest, seeing how far the Red Sox would go. Would you include Peyton Tolley? I think the Red Sox got to a point where they said, you tell us, dude. Like, you tell us what you want, and we'll make it work. And the Twins just didn't reciprocate. That was number one. The number two part of the context is there's not a controllable starter that moved at the deadline. Like, if you want to throw JP Sears in there, you could have up until yesterday, but they just optioned him down to AAA yesterday. So, and he wasn't the headline. All due respect to JP Sears, I like the player, but he was not the headliner of the Mason Miller trade. So no team, it's entirely, I feel much differently about it if someone else acquired Joe Ryan or someone else got a Sandy Alcantara or a Cabrera from the Marlins, something like that. No controllable starter moved at the deadline. I still give it an F because I think that if there's a will, there's a way. But it's not as bad when it's, you know, another team didn't swoop in and get the guy that you were focused on.
No, you're a Red Sox homer, dude. You can't use other teams to justify your madness, okay? So let's just say that, okay? They're the Red Sox. They want to get a guy, they go get a guy. But here's my question. Since the trade deadline, I think the Red Sox are 7-0. Is that right? Since the trade deadline or around there? They're 9-1 their last 10. So is it the Red Sox being good or the Yankees being crappy while the Red Sox have just smashed past the Yankees in the last 10 days?
It's both. I mean, it goes beyond just the 7-game winning streak. They've been one of the best teams at home. They won 16 of 18 at home. I want to say for the whole year, I think they have the second best winning percentage at home in the American League. So, I mean, that's a big part of it is they take care of business at Fenway. But yeah, the Yankees have been awful. That's been really fun to watch. I mean, it's been hard to watch is what I said. It's been.
What makes you happier? What makes you happier?
I love the Red Sox more than I hate the Yankees, but I mean, it's a nice little like the Red Sox winning is the steak dinner, but the Yankees always like when they're on Central Time and they lose after a Red Sox win, that's the chocolate cake, that's the espresso martini, that's the, you know, let's cap off a nice dinner with a little treat at the end.
That's good. I like that. What did you want them to do though? If they couldn't pull off Joe Ryan, like, do you think they could have pulled off a Merrill Kelly, or I know that it was tough to pry one of these other controllable starters, but even a Shane Bieber and taking a chance on someone like him, which the Blue Jays did.
Yeah, Merrill Kelly was the guy for me. I think Joe Ryan was in a tier of his own, and I think once you start, no disrespect to Merrill Kelly, I think he's awesome. Like, he was the guy that I wanted if they didn't get Ryan, but he's a rental. I think the Red Sox had the pieces to go out and get a controllable guy, but if no controllable starters move, then you look at the rentals and yeah, Merrill Kelly was the guy. I want a guy that has postseason experience that can come over and talk to a Bryan Buxton who hasn't been there. He's having a great year. His ERA is like 3.03 coming into today. Crochet obviously has no postseason experience coming from the White Sox. Giolito has some. No offense. You know, Giolito he has some postseason experience with the White Sox, so that's there as well. But yeah, that would have been a nice pickup. Also, first base. I can tell you, the Red Sox did try to upgrade at first base, but the ask was we want big league players in return. So I don't think that they were trying to make any big leaguer for big leaguer deals. I think they were trying to trade from their prospect pool, and they just didn't get something done.
All right, Jared, we got about 30 seconds left, so take us to break in your Craig Breslow voice. I hear you have a great one, so take us to break in your Craig Breslow voice.
Yeah, AJ, I got a great Breslow voice, and you know what? I'll tell you something right now, Pierzynski. Every single time I come on this show, you promise me a steak dinner, and you always say that I'm going to pay for it, but you're paying for it next time you're in Boston.
That's amazing. Everyone's favorite Muppet.
Thank you. Craig Breslow is aware of it now. I've been doing cameos, making fun of him on Cameo, and he said he wants a cut if I want to continue doing it. So 20% to Craig Breslow, done deal.
Amazing. All
great.
right. We just the marquee Cubs audience just left for commercial break. Perfect timing to get to their pregame show. We've got 2 minutes left with Jared. That's really good stuff. Appreciate that. Love that. And then last one for me here.
Wait, hold up. Hold up. We have 2 minutes. So wait, what do you mean you're going to give 20% to Craig Breslow for this? How about you kick me 10% for just giving you the plug on national TV?
Oh, then plug my cameo, then AJ. I mean, earn your
Plug
money,
my
dude.
cameo.
Dance.
I plug
Are
your
you on
chicken
Cameo?
marsala, Jared, all the time at Carrabis, so you plug my cameo.
All right, deal. All right, we have to do a collaborative effort on Cameo, a little combination effort on Cameo. Me and AJ
Let's do it.
Pierzynski.
It's the Sox
All right,
2
done
for
deal.
1 deal. If you like the
Yeah.
Red or the White Sox, then we've got a combo for you on Cameo.
Hey, I played
Well,
for the Red Sox.
I was gonna say I just did some content with Red Sox legend Eric Hosmer. I mean, he has, it's kind of the same tenure as AJ. When are you back here with Fox?
I don't think this year. I don't think so.
See, now
Maybe
you're letting me
playoffs.
down. Like
Playoffs, man.
definitely playoffs. Mark it down. When you're here for the playoffs, there's a content opportunity there. We have to do some cross content there.
Hell yeah. In.
Yeah.
Done.
Check.
And gives me a good time here on the way out to plug what Jared's got in the mix here. Or do you want to do it? You got too many jobs, but I mean, I personally love the little Nesson. I forget what it's called, but UPAP Alana deal that you got going on. Yep. Go ahead.
Yep. That's a lot of foul territory right there. So me and Alana, Rizzo, Jonathan Papelbon, it's Unobstructed Views on Nesson 360 tonight. Baseball is Dead as the podcast. Section 10 is the Red Sox podcast. I'm on the Sports Hub. I'm on MLB Network. We're everywhere. Cameo with AJ Pierzynski. You can book us on Cameo. And that's it. That's it.
And you'll definitely get much more insight on this Roman Anthony extension from Jared on his pods coming up. So, Jared, we'll let you go do that. Thanks for hopping on with us with the breaking news, and good timing by our guest booker.
Thank you very much. I'll see you guys very soon.
Yes, appreciate you.
Thank you.
See you soon. FT Fan, be right back. Better than box scores. Let's look at things from yesterday, and we're going to start with a team that many fans feel like they're not getting talked about enough. The Seattle Mariners pick up a dub against AJ's White Sox yesterday. Bryan WOAH was strong. Josh Naylor homered, Gino Suarez homered, and AJ looks bothered about the Mariners fans that feel like they're not getting enough attention.
I mean, they beat the White Sox. I mean, they didn't beat the first place team. They beat the last place team, right? Listen, the Mariners are good. We talk about the Mariners all the time. We talk about how we love what they did at the trade deadline. We talked about a lot of the Mariners. I love the Mariners. I love Seattle. I love Safeco, T-Mobile, whatever the heck it's called now. I love Seattle. So I feel like we talk about the Mariners a lot. So people that say we don't talk about the Mariners, they must be watching a different show, because we talk about the Mariners a lot.
I agree. And also, it's 30 teams and it's 2 hours a day. So we're not going to get to everyone in depth. But I do think it stands out that both of the trade deadline acquisitions, Kip, the big ones, bat-wise, for the Mariners, homer yesterday, Gino's back. And I love Josh Naylor. They really needed to upgrade the corner infield positions. It had been neglected, one or the other or both, for a long period of time. And they did a little 2-for-1 over several days with the same team. And that's a team that could hit this year and couldn't pitch. I'm talking about the Diamondbacks. So these are two impact bats. I mean, Gino hadn't homered in a minute, but I think he gets his footing down now. And also he's gotten hit by pitches a bunch of times. This is going to be a much more dangerous lineup with those two.
Oh, they added some thump into the middle of the lineup with those two. 100%. And from both sides of the plate, which is really nice. Gino, he was... He went like 7 games without a home run. He was firing them off everywhere right before the All-Star break, I think, if I remember too. And then trade deadline comes, and I think now that he's gotten his first one with the new team, you can start to see him settle in a little bit. It's always good to get that first one out of the way when you're known for hitting home runs. And no, that lineup lengthened tremendously with a lot more power now adding those two.
Also, the depth is going to lengthen. This is, in my mind, big news. It's not going to necessarily feel that way to the casual fan. But, AJ, Seattle fans last year loved Victor Robles when they picked him up for the last couple of months of the season. He gets hurt really early on. I think it was the first week of the year, but he's been way ahead of schedule. So they announced yesterday rehab assignment for him next week, 40 to 50 plate appearances, and then he should be called up to the show. That's a really nice piece that can help you and do a little bit of everything as an outfielder for this team. Bryce Miller also on his way back. He's been pumping high 90s, and I think he's got maybe one more rehab start. So they're going to start to get even deeper in the rotation and in the outfield lineup, whatever you want to call it.
I mean, here's the thing. They're 3 games behind the Astros. They're a game and a half ahead of the Rangers. We like their team. We like where they're at. We obviously love their pitching. Their offense is better. Can they win the division? I think they have a shot. I think the Astros are starting to get healthy. They get Arrighetti back. They get Pena back. They're starting to get healthy and to where they are if they ever get Alvarez back. But I still think the Mariners are a legit threat to win this division. And if they get in, nobody wants to face that pitching. Here's the real question. I know we're talking Mariners right now, but can the Mariners, who are ahead of the Yankees right now, and the Rangers, who are only a half game behind the Yankees, knock the Yankees out of the playoffs in the AL West? Both these teams past the New York Yankees. I think that's the bigger story. We all expect the Mariners to get in, and we all think they can do damage, but can the other team, the Rangers, pass the Yankees? And wow, what a surprise that would be. Because 2 months ago, we're like, oh, the Yankees are winning the East easily. They're going to be great in the playoffs. And now, whammy, they're almost out of the playoffs.
Who was right below Texas? Can we bring that back up? Who was right below Texas in that?
Oh, the Cleveland Guardians and Texas Rangers have the 2 best records in the American League in the second half of the season. Yes, Kip, this is a team that did not buy. They sold a little bit. They really actually just lost some dudes to a whole nother story with the betting investigation that's going on right now. But they're actually playing really well against the Mets in this current series. They're a game and a half back. It's a good question, too. Will the Guardians catch the Yankees?
They're always there at the end. I think I just saw they won like 8 of their last 9 series or something like that, or they're 18-7 in their last series. I don't like anybody who counts out Cleveland. So I wouldn't be surprised if they're there in the end. I don't know. I'm sure you guys have addressed it with that whole trade deadline fiasco with them, those 2 pitchers. I thought they probably would have been sellers had it not happened, and they would have kind of rebooted their entire organization. So they kind of – those 2 guys, or at least one guy, screwed the organization rather.
Yeah, and like they traded.
Mind.
Yeah.
Kip, hold up. Kip, what's over your shoulder? Is that your right shoulder? Left shoulder. Right shoulder, left shoulder. What's over your left shoulder? What is that? What's that?
Picture of my family?
No, over, like above your shoulder. Like I see a World Series, and then it's a Kipnis retired. No, keep going. Keep going. No, the other way. Other way. Oh, there you go. Yeah, what's that?
That one?
Yeah. Is that a Kipnis Indians Guardians jersey? Oh, man. I felt like I was talking to Kratz with the homerism. Sorry.
Really? Mr. White Sox, really? We're going to do that? Really? I can't believe I just got out of my chair, too, for you to actually go for and get over. Mr. White Sox. Okay. See, this is AL Central. I'm okay with it.
Don't let him remodel your home on the fly here, okay? Think about these decisions before you make them. But in all seriousness, I do want to spend a couple minutes on the Yankees disaster because they lost again, and Devin Williams blew it, AJ. And Devin Williams has an ERA north of 5, and his ERA in his career when he was with the Brewers was south of 2. So it just keeps piling up, the dumb mistakes. Judge is back, so that's good. Although that now moves Stanton to a bench guy, or good luck if you want him in the outfield, because the way he's running, no freaking way he will last more than a week out there in my mind.
No. You'll have guys taking the extra base every single time.
Here's my thing. Someone in the chat said this, and this, it's funny. It's not great, but the Yankees changed their facial policy for the guy with ERA over 5. That's kind of what the Yankee fans feel about Devin Williams, right? And it's not fair. He's had a rough go. But to me, I watched that game last night. Devin Williams walks too many guys. He hasn't thrown enough strikes. I mean, the Rowdy Tellez at bat was unbelievable. I mean, I think it was a 10-pitch at bat with the bases loaded, and he finally got the little single, and you could see how excited Rowdy was. But he gave up a double to Adolis Garcia on a changeup to lead off the inning. Now, Jason Dominguez missed it. I mean, yeah, it was a tough play. But then he pitched out, walked Jock Peterson. Then he walked Langford, and then Tellez came up. So he put himself in a lot of this position instead of going after guys. And then Rowdy gets the hit, and the Yankees don't score. I mean, let's give a shout-out to Evaldi, too. His ERA is like 1.5 for the year, which is unbelievable. But, I mean, the Yankees bullpen, the guys that they traded for, Bednar, Bird, and some of these other guys haven't done what they thought they'd do. Doval, and then you throw in Devin Williams with his up and down this year. Luke Weaver's been up and down this year. I don't know, man. It's an interesting spot because Judge came back. It put Stanton in a weird spot. So I don't know. I don't know if the Yankees are going to get there. I mean, as good of a team as we thought they had, I don't know if they're going to get there. They make a lot of dumb mistakes too.
So there's been a lot of talk in New York and on this show about how to handle this, right? The roster is what it is at this point, Kip. We haven't had you on a minute. So let's get your take on how Aaron Boone can do things differently. Should he – he has taken – is that news right now? Oh, no. I'm reading the chat as we go here. But he was thinking about taking Devin Williams out, right? So that's step one. Now you've got a guy in David Bednar who could potentially replace him in that role. So on-field moves. And then I also want to get your take on the tone, right? Like we didn't have you on, what was it, last week or early this week when Jazz Chisholm, I think over the weekend was the play where he gets doubled up at first. It's a pop-up. And how many guys actually make it to second base, even if someone does drop it and try to replace the runner. So he ends up costing them 2 outs. Booney defends him, goes after his first base coach and Travis Chapman. He's all fired up. Fans, people just want to see him actually roasting the player, maybe even benching the player. What would you do if you're Aaron Boone right now to try and shake things up?
Well, trading for Bednar gives you the luxury of moving Devin Williams if you need to. I think you can mix and match, and if the stats aren't there, if the lockdown's not there, then you know what? You got to go to that guy. If he's going to repeatedly give up runs, put him in a different situation to succeed. Let him get his feet back under him. Let him find some pitches. But we were talking about him earlier. I think a guy like that who doesn't have the most overpowering fastball or stuff like that needs to get ahead. You cannot get behind guys in the order, and at bat, because once you're behind, they can start sitting on one of your 2 pitches, basically like that. So in terms of benching guys, yes, it is a great threat. I think I remember seeing, I forget who wrote about it, but the threat of being benched, of raising the bar of the standard that you set there for your organization, for your team, works. It does work. I'm not going to sit here and say that was the right time to do it or it was the wrong time to do it, but it's like you need to make an example. Sometimes you need to make an example out of your higher profile guys if they're the ones who are screwing up, because that'll mean more than just benching the last guy on the roster. So I think the Yankees have always had this high culture, and Booney's trying as best he can, but it doesn't sound like it's that high. It doesn't sound like it's that championship or bust culture that used to be there for the Yankees as it once was. I guess
Kip, you played second base, so I want to ask you, because Scott brought it up, but we talked about the Jazz situation the other day, and I don't know if you saw the play where he thought the second baseman might drop it, so he took an extra step, and then he got doubled off. Like, if the second baseman drops it and you're the runner on first, you're screwed. So why would you even – like, that never would have gone from my mind. And you know Paul Goldschmidt, he's going to run the ball out. He was right there. So they weren't going to turn a double play. So, like, I mean, I know he said, I thought he was going to drop it, and I was going to try to make it. You're never going to make it. So don't you just have to eat it? If he drops, you just eat it and you're out.
Listen, I'm not sitting here defending Jazz on this one. That was a bad base running. That was plain and simple. You're absolutely right. He's going nowhere. You're not going to get to second base by the time he picks up and throws the ball there. So sometimes that's just the way where the ball goes, its location, and sometimes it's just hitting the right spot where they can make that play and decide which runner they want on base for them. And you can't do anything about it, though. So you cannot get doubled off there, though. Absolutely not. Getting caught in the middle is a bad idea. Getting caught off first base for a second out is an even worse idea. So it was just a compounded thing that was stupid on his part. I think if you asked him, he would tell you it's stupid now too.
Well, they did, and he said he would do it again.
Never mind then. So, well, then you know what? excuse me for giving him the benefit of the doubt, but I don't know. Why would you do it again? It's one thing if you just want to stick up against the media or something, or you're just in a bad mood and want to give a bad answer or something like that. But if I'm a teammate, I sure hope he doesn't do it again.
Yeah, I don't think that was the answer a lot of people wanted to hear.
Hold on, but I know we got
There's nothing he can do. That's what I'm saying. There's nothing he can do. That's what AJ's saying too.
Here's my question for you, both of y'all. Like, I know we keep talking about Aaron Boone keeps getting crushed. What can Aaron Boone do? Aaron Boone is with the roster. He's got the roster he's got. There's no more trades. There's no more anything they can do, right? So he can't bench. Yeah, he's like, okay, I benched Jazz for a couple of days for bad base running. Like, okay, then who plays second base? It puts them in, and they're already, like we just talked about, they're already on the verge of missing the playoffs. So who's he going to bench? He's not going to bench Dominguez. He's not going to bench Judge, right? Like, what does he do? He's stuck. You have to dance with who you brought.
No, I answered that question in the sense not like Boone's not doing enough. What can he do? He needs to do more. No, I answered it like, all right, what ideas would you have for him to change the culture? I didn't answer it like I didn't take it that way. That he's not doing enough. His hands are tied. Yeah.
No, I agree. I agree with what you're saying. There's nothing he can do. And listen, I give Aaron Boone a ton of credit because he stands up for his players like nobody's business.
I like the way he handles
everything.
Agreed.
I mean, Lance said it on Monday. Behind closed doors, Boone has meetings, but in public, he covers guys. And I appreciate that, man. It's better than having a manager go out there and say, this guy sucks, this guy sucks, this guy sucks. And like in the old days, it's much better now to have a private conversation and have them defend you publicly. I promise you. Because you don't want to be – Kip, I don't think they were quite as bad. But when I first came up, like with Tom Kelly and some of these guys, they'd just be like, this guy sucks. Get him out of here. And you're like, I didn't even do anything. I've been here for one day. I don't even know. I didn't even play. Like, what did I do? Right? They just destroy you.
They knew, though.
Yeah, well, let's ask Jim Bowden about this, right? Because he's been in the role above the manager, and we'll get his thoughts. We'll start with the Roman Anthony extension, of course. JB, our resident GM, coming up next. It's summertime, it's bathing suit time, and it's time to get a better bathing suit liner. It's 2025, Kratz. I would like to feel more comfortable, and I would like to thank Fair Harbor for doing that.
It's super easy. Get the Fair Harbor Breeze Knit liner in your shorts. You can go play football on the beach. You can play paddleball, and you don't got to worry about that crappy liner that other bathing suits have.
It is so comfortable. You got to check it out. I'm telling you, it's like butter, baby. You got to check out the Fair Harbor, not only bathing suits, but they carry a full line of casual clothing, shorts, shirts, hoodies. Go to the website, fairharborclothing.com/foul, and use code FOUL for 20% off your first purchase. That's fair, HARBOR clothing.com/foul for 20% off your first purchase. And make sure that you use the FT promo code so that they know we sent you and you get the discount, FOUL. Here we are showing you a little update on Zack Wheeler that Phillies fans probably don't love, but the team doesn't seem too concerned about it. Deep breaths for now. Phillies are bumping Wheeler, this according to Matt Gelb. They're bumping him back 2 days to Sunday. He complained of some shoulder stiffness. They sent him for an MRI. It was clean, Rob Thompson said, and Wheeler played catch today. I mean, he's been very durable, AJ, so you got to trust what Zack Wheeler says, but also trust when he even agrees a couple days is needed.
Can we just bump him back one day? Because I do the game on Saturday. Can't we just bump him to Saturday so I could have him? It would have been Wheeler versus DeGrom. What? Instead, I think it's, I don't know who it is, but I think it's Sanchez DeGrom. But I would have taken Wheeler DeGrom.
That would have been awesome. Oh, I didn't know we had that opportunity. Sanchez DeGrom's still pretty good, though.
Yeah, but I mean, you just had Wheeler Skubal. We could have Wheeler Skubal, Wheeler DeGrom. I mean, talk about some matchups. Now we're talking. People tune in to watch that stuff.
By the way, I do want to shout out Nate Eovaldi, who shoved yesterday for the Rangers, 8 innings, shutout ball, and his ERA on the season is minuscule. It's like low ones, I think, 1.3, something like that. So I don't think we'll have time for it anywhere else. I just wanted to give him some straight up love for being, I think, underrated this season from a regular season perspective. We talk a lot about Skubal, Crochet. Eovaldi has been a top 5 pitcher in the American League this year, and he's got the postseason pedigree as well.
Big game Nate. Don't mess with big game Nate.
No, he's nasty.
ERA is 1.38. 1.38, by the way, on the year. 138, and we're deep in them.
Wow. Front Office Unfiltered time. Resident GM Jim Bowden joining us right now. And we have business right at the top, JB. Roman Anthony and the Red Sox get it done on the extension. I'm sure you're pleased with this one. Your instant reaction?
I cannot believe Roman Anthony left that much money on the table. I'm actually in a state of shock. I don't understand how you can sit there and watch Ronald Acuna Jr. and watch Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and see the difference between the two, right? I mean, right now in the bank, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is guaranteed $570,800,000 in earnings. Ronald Acuna Jr., similar talent, should be paid similarly, has $100 million. So there's a difference of $470 million between the two. And Roman Anthony just signed a Ronald Acuna deal. Ronald Acuna got 8 years, 100. Roman Anthony's doing 8 years, 130. I don't get it. I really don't. Now, Matt Rodriguez negotiated the deal for frontline athlete management, and I understand if you're 21 years old, I understand it's really hard to turn down $130 million. I also understand that he'll be a free agent again at age 29, and he'll have a chance to get that $700, $800 million deal by then. I get that. I get the thinking behind it, but not when there's that much money on the table. The last 2 years of this deal alone, he left at least $100 million on the table. $100 million, which is almost exactly what he's signing for at 130. So, kudos to Craig Breslow and to John Henry and Theo Epstein and Tom Werner and everyone else that was able to do this, because it's going to really help you down the road. I love that Alex Anthopoulos did it with Acuna. I love it from the club side, but boy, can you imagine what Scott Boras is thinking right now? My goodness.
Scott Boras doesn't have him. Scott Boras doesn't have him, Jim. So what was your job before you became a...
If he had him, what would he do, AJ?
You wouldn't tell him not to sign, but that's a different story. But there's a long list of guys that didn't sign that extension with Boras and didn't make the money either. So you can go both ways. Here's my question for you, Jim. Since you have the sport coat over the hoodie, which is an informal, formal look, which I kind of dig, I'm not going to lie, because I'm jealous. But before you were a TV star and a radio star, what was your job in Major League Baseball?
Well, I was senior vice president and general manager of Major League Baseball teams for 17
years. So if you
years.
would have gone to a player that you was on your team and said, I can lock this guy up and take money from him that he might earn down the road, would you be happy with that? Or would you say, no, Roman, don't sign this because I'm the GM and I just want the best for you?
AJ, you know the answer. I was so happy.
Exactly, I know the answer. So
left
stop
$2 million
saying
on the
other way.
table. Of course, I would have liked to have signed Anthony for $90 million instead of $130, and I would have tried everything to do that because that was the hat or the sports jacket I was wearing at the time. Yeah, it's the job. I get it. At the same time, I like what Atlanta did with Acuna on the club side. I didn't like what it does for Acuna. I get it. I mean, now I'm in a neutral spot, right? Now I'll just tell you the way it is, and Anthony left too much money on the table. He did. I'm happy for the Red Sox. This is the best move Craig Breslow has made since he got the job, to be honest.
And the Red Sox in general have been locking up some of their youngsters. I mean, this is the guy that they're most excited about from a prospect perspective, no doubt. And now you're seeing it in the big leagues. I'm going to take a different turn on this one with you, JB, because you're neutral now and you know everything about obviously how these deals get done because you did it for a long period of time. Can you put your agency hat on and tell me what you would say to Roman Anthony to try and prevent him from taking on a deal like this? Because the agent's job is to communicate any offer that's on the table. And for the Red Sox, they're probably like, okay, Corbin Carroll, that was 111. We got to blow past that. Let's get to 130. What's the line where we tell a 21-year-old $130 million and he takes it? It's tough for a 21-year-old to turn down that kind of money, even if he can make hundreds of millions more.
Yeah, I think I would show him the algorithm and the amount of young position players that got injured and career ended, which is a very, very small number. The odds are very, very thin. And then I would show him how much money he'll make through the salary arbitration process, right? And a contract like this, he's going to be at the top end of the 3 class, the 4 class, the 5 class. But then I would show him what he's giving up, right, in years 7 and 8 in this deal. I would show him what Guerrero just signed for. I would show him that Guerrero next year will make $40 million and Ronald Acuna is going to make 17. That's just a fact. And they're both equal talent. They should both be paid very similarly, and they're not. So I would go through that process, and then I would remind him that, you know, Soto just got 765 in the open market. And then I would show him that Guerrero got 500 million on the open market. And I would tell him that you're going to profile better than Guerrero. I can't put you with Soto yet. I think you have the potential of being Soto or better, but I'll put you between the two. And so I'm going to show you that, sure, you're getting 130 million, but you're leaving at least 100 million years 7 and 8. And if you want to do this, I get it, but what is the risk if you go through the system? Soto turned down 450 million from the Washington Nationals. Turned it down. They traded him. Okay, what did he end up with? So I just think for a position player, in particular an outfielder, when we look at the last 30 years, the odds of him having an Albert Bell, you know, hip injury to end the career it's very small. And, you know, I would tell him, hey, let's try to do a 6-year deal without giving up free agency. I'm more than happy to do that, but let's not give up those free agent years. Or if we give them up, we got to get 40, 50 million a year, because Guerrero's 40 is going to be 50 by the time he gets there, right? I don't want to give that up. I can't. And so that'll be my pitch to him at the end of the day. And then we'll see what the Red Sox say. But, you know, I really have a problem years 7 and 8. I'm not giving it up if I'm the agent representing a superstar player like Roman Anthony. There's other players I would do it with, but not a player of this stature.
Okay. Last thing on this before we let you go. Does the impending labor strife possibility affect this in any way? Because the owners keep saying we want a salary cap, right? The players keep saying we're not going to get a salary cap. Now, if there becomes something in the middle, whether it's a harder cap than what we technically have now, players' earnings might not be unlimited like they were with Soto and Guerrero. Do you think you look at it from that standpoint and say, well, if this happens, we might not be able to get to 500 plus million?
Yeah, no, I definitely don't look at it that way. And I respect the players' union and the people that are involved. They're not going to allow a system that's going to stop the star players from getting paid. They're not going to allow what has happened with the draft happen. And I can't imagine, with the strong player leadership that's there, I can't imagine them allowing a system. Look, we have a parity issue in this game that has to be fixed. We need the smaller markets to be able to spend more money to be more competitive. I get it. But you can't, the players are not going to allow, the union is not going to allow all of a sudden the players not make what they deserve and get paid. I mean, remember, the percentage that players get is a lot less than it was 7 years ago and 10 years ago. They're not even getting their 50% share or more, or whatever you want to argue they deserve. So I just, you know, again, I don't think it's a factor, AJ. I understand where you're coming from. I just don't have fear of those kind of things. Every time we have a labor, disagreement, or it's coming up, everyone's going to talk about work stoppages. You know, since Rob Manfred's been there hasn't been any work stoppage. And those of us that lived through 94 and 95, we're not doing that again. They're not going to do it again. They can talk about it. You know, it's just like in the NFL with Micah Parsons saying he wants a trade. He doesn't want to trade. He wants his contract. He wants to be the highest paid non-quarterback in football. And all this dialogue, it happens. The Bryce Harper, Rob Manfred thing, that's just negotiations. We're going to have a deal that works. Clubs aren't going to get what they want. Players are going to hopefully work hard to get the minimum up, and hopefully work hard to get the smaller markets to be more competitive, and maybe work a little bit harder on revenue sharing. And maybe we toughen the soft cap a little bit, but not to the extent where it's going to affect star players from making the money they deserve. My opinion.
I got a question for you. We're not letting you go just yet. You can let your agent hat go. I'm going to have you put your GM hat back on.
All right.
If you're Jed Hoyer, are you dealing with the Nats anymore? Do you just get a sense of this kind of bad faith with the Soroka deal, or what is your take on all this?
All right. So my take is clear and concise on this, okay? I go by the rule book. It's up to the assignee club to do their homework on the medicals. It's their fault. It's not the club. The clubs do, and this is, and look, I got under similar criticism when I traded Gary Majeski to the Cincinnati Reds back in the day, and people accused me because he got over there and he had issues. This is what I do. Let the doctors talk to each other, share all the medical information, let the other side exactly know what's going on with every single player. And then it's up to the team trading for the player to make that call. Now, anyone that's watched Soroka's career knows his shoulder issues have never gone away. Anyone that watched his last few starts saw the velocity has gone down. He didn't look right. And the Cubs decided to do it anyway. That's on Jed Hoyer. That was a risk he took, which was, he took it. Okay, whatever. I mean, I thought it was I thought they needed to go bigger, but Jed got the contract before the deadline, which, okay, I got security. I don't want to trade all my kids now. I would have waited if I was an owner and signed Jed after the trade deadline, because I want you to go for it. I want you to make a bigger move than Mike Soroka, please. So anyway, it's all on Jed, though. 100% on Jed, and he's owning it, and he needs to. It's his call.
Fair enough.
Hey, Jim, how many times did you trade for or pick up a guy that you thought was underperforming? And I'm going to use Andrew Vaughn as an example. Like, how much does a change of scenery really do for a player? And do front offices look at that and say, man, if we could just get this guy out of wherever they're at and put him in a more positive culture with a winning culture, that they actually would perform? Because since Andrew Vaughn's been with the Brewers, he's been the MVP of baseball.
Yeah, he has been. That's a great point. So we spend a lot of time in front offices concentrating on players that we feel are underperforming with other teams. And we get with the evaluators, the scouts, the development people, the analytic people, and you get everybody together to say, how do you fix this guy? If we traded for this guy, can we fix it? And the other thing that's complicated, we're not talking about players, we're talking about human beings, right? Is a human being going to do better with a change of scenery? Do we think if he came into our environment, he would be able to go to the next level? And then vice versa, you have to be concerned. Jake Bird goes from the last place Rockies to the Yankees. Pitching for a last place team is a lot different than pitching in New York City for the New York Yankees. The pressure's different, the vibe is different, the lifestyle is different, and you got to calculate that. When Kikuchi was traded Toronto to Houston, Dana Brown, the GM of the Astros, and his data room, they knew exactly what they wanted to do to Kikuchi, and they thought they could fix him. They did. He went over there last year after the deadline and was like 5-1 with like a 2 ERA. They made quick adjustments with his repertoire, his pitch sequencing, and immediately paid dividends. We used to get guys and say, hey, if we change the grip, or if we do this with his delivery, or if we put him on the other side of the rubber, I think we can do this. Or, there's also the guys in the middle. Like I remember when I brought in Benito Santiago and Tony Fernandez, I didn't know how that was. It was in '95. I didn't know that was going to fit in the clubhouse. So, I went to Barry Larkin, who was one of the team leaders, and Lenny Harris, and I said, what do you guys think about these two guys? Because baseball-wise, they fit, right? Sitting up there in the GM suite, Fernandez can be Gold Glove third base, right, if I put him there. Santiago upgrades are catching, but I'm not sure how it's going to fit in the room. What do you guys think? Will they fit in the room? And if they don't, can we handle it? And when they bought in, then okay, I'll go forward and make those moves. So it's complicated because we're talking about human element, and then we're talking about how can I fix a guy. And then sometimes you got to be concerned. I remember when I worked for the Yankees, there was always the big issue. Lou Piniella and Gene Michael kept pounding with me. You got to be careful because there's not a lot of guys that can handle New York. And you got to really study the player, because you can have a pitcher that's pitching great for the Angels or Padres, but you bring him over to New York and they can't handle it. So you have to really study it both ways to see. But change of scenery can certainly help. It can also backfire.
Yeah, the Yankees are dealing with a little bit of that right now with a reliever or two, which is a whole nother topic. But JB, I want to ask you about the trade deadline. We see the grades, we see the superlatives, the whole deal. The trade deadline passed. This is what I love. The few days after the trade deadline, and it's still happening, right? There's still articles this morning about it. The conversations that went down, the what ifs, right? Stuff that didn't happen, or players blocking deals. So I'll give you dealer's choice on this one, from Ken Rosenthal reporting about how the Padres landed Mason Miller and some of the other teams, turning down Miller because they didn't want to give up some of those top prospects, right? Phillies, I think Mets were on that list, etc. Bryan Buxton saying no to potentially being moved because he wants to stay with Minnesota, or any others that you saw, those what ifs. Which one stood out to you?
Yeah, I mean, I think the Mason Miller deal I loved a lot, only just as a former GM, just understanding the people that made the deal, right? AJ Preller, sitting there trying to win now, never been afraid to trade Trey Turner or James Wood or CJ Abrams or Mackenzie Gore, never afraid. Has built a core that isn't going away, and he's got a window to win a World Series, and there's not a prospect he won't trade. And it was fascinating to me because what did he do? He traded him to the Athletics, where although he's not in the limelight anymore, behind the scenes, one of the owners named Billy Beane had a long record. Remember the Addison Russell trade for Jeff Samardzija? Like he did the exact same thing. That's why I text Billy Beane afterwards to tell him, yeah, your fingerprints were all over this one, Billy. But to me, that was such a great deal because, AJ can call him and say, look, I traded Trey Turner. I traded James Wood. I traded for Fernando Tatis Jr. I'm going to do the same thing for you. I'm going to give you an all-star shortstop. He's a teenager, and he'll be ready for Vegas, but I need to win now, and I need Mason Miller. So I need your best asset, but I'll give you my best future asset. And for you, 3 years from now, you're going to be really happy because everyone's going to be asking me, how could you trade James Wood and DeVries? But what he's trying to do is win a championship. That's what AJ's trying to do right now. I'd have made that deal too. Now, if I'm the Athletics, I'd have made the trade, right? I mean, you got a chance to get your future face of the franchise. Of course you're going to make that trade. So that was among the most intriguing. And the one on Buxton was kind of funny because I remember when he was a young kid over in spring training, I went over to Fort Myers and was talking to him. He had the Minnesota Twins logo tattooed on his back. And I said, Byron, how do you know you're going to spend your career with Minnesota? You know this game. There's turnover. He said, no, I'm going to spend my career here. I said, you don't know that. You could be a free agent. You could get traded. Byron Buxton has the tattoo that he honestly is going to finish his whole career there. He got the no trade, and he literally, no matter how bad they get, he wants to stay there. So I got a big kick out of so many teams trying to trade for him and him just saying, no, I'm not going anywhere. So if you give up someone a no trade, you got to live up to it.
All right, I got so many things off the answer you just gave. One, you got to call him Preller because AJ is on this show, okay? The real one, okay? Preller and Hinch, okay, Jim? So if you're going to keep coming on here, this is AJ, they're Preller and Hinch, all right?
Okay, I'll call him. I'm going to call him King Preller then. I got it.
That's fine. You can call him whatever you want as long as it's not AJ, okay? And then second of all,
that's fair.
Eric Milton once had a Yankees tattoo on his left shoulder, and then he got traded to the Twins, and he's like, now what do I do? And we're like, yeah, he shouldn't have probably got that tattoo. So, yeah, Byron Buxton has the no trade clause. Milton got it before, and then he got traded to the Twins. All right, but then, but
awesome.
For real, I just want to know. This is it. Last question for me. Will the Yankees make the playoffs this year the way they're currently constructed? Because they can't make any more moves. Will they make the playoffs?
I'm going to go no, and I'm going to go no
Woo!
because I'm going to go no just because I really love the AL West 3 teams right now. I just do. I mean, I think what Seattle did at the deadline, I think they can get to the World Series now. And I've been on Texas's bandwagon. I thought they would hit more, but their pitching's been really good, and Houston's not going away. So if I put those 3 teams there, Detroit, and then Boston and Toronto may finish ahead of the New York Yankees. So, I don't know. There's just the vibe in New York's not great. They're not playing well. It's not a great defensive team. And I'm worried about Aaron Judge. I've been clear about that because the way the Yankees announced his injury, they said there was no acute injury to the ulnar collateral ligament. Then they said there's a PRP injection. So that means there's a tear in the ulnar collateral ligament. That's what it means. It may be a slight tear, but there's a tear. It's intact is what they said, right? An acute injury, and it's intact. All that can be true, but this is the same as Garrett Cole. So there's a tear. That's why you don't shoot the PRP in there if you're not trying to strengthen the ligament, and you're not trying to strengthen the ligament if it's completely strong. And I just worry about that, because if you lose Aaron Judge, this team can't win if their MVP isn't in that lineup. And I'm worried about the bullpen, and I'm worried about Volpe. I don't understand the Gold Glover, why he's struggling like he is. So, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they miss out.
Yeah, this is an avalanche of issues, and it's surprising, but here we are. And there are a few teams coming after him. JB, great stuff. This was a good little catch up post deadline. Appreciate the time, and we'll catch you soon.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Thanks, Jason.
Thank you.
Thanks, AJ.
Thank you.
Thanks, Scott.
At Jim Bowden GM, that's the follow on Twitter. Check his articles out in The Athletic, and he'll be back on FT soon. Kratz, there are a lot of people out there that pay rent and they don't get anything for it.
Might as well change that. You can get some rewards for flights, hotels, tons of stuff.
With Built, you can earn flexible points that can be redeemed towards airlines, hotels, a future rent payment, your next Lyft ride, and much more. It doesn't stop there. Built is about making your entire neighborhood more rewarding. You can dine out at your favorite local restaurants and enjoy experiences just for Built members every month. They're turning a monthly expense into an opportunity to earn rewards and discover the best that your neighborhood has to offer. Your rent is finally working for you. Earn points on rent and around your neighborhood, wherever you call home, by going to joinbuilt.com/foul. That's joinbilt.com/FOUL. Make sure to use our URL so they know we sent you. joinbuilt.com/foul. Go for it. Hey, well, we've got our little middle infielder with us. Kip, what are your thoughts on what Anthony Volpe is going through? I mean, it's a Gold Glove shortstop who has had significant throwing issues that seem mental. He does not seem like he has his confidence defensively.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen him be a fantastic defender, so we know it's in there. I think he just kind of needs to make up his mind, hey, I'm going to attack everything. I think that takes the kind of guesswork out of it. I think when you're indecisive or indifferent on what to do on the ball or how much time to take, just say, hey, listen, I'm going to attack every single thing and attack all these throws. So my mind's made up on it, how I'm going to approach the ball, how I'm going to approach this throw. There's no guesswork in it. There's no second guessing. And I think it just kind of simplifies things, because I think right now his wheels are turning a little bit too much, because and AJ can attest to this too. You can't play trying not to screw up. You have to attack the game. You have to play to make the plays. You can't play like when you swing to like just not strike out, it's not your normal swing, so you're going to strike out. When you try not to throw in air, you're going to like, oh, I got to get it there. You're going to drop the arm slot, and then here goes the throw into the stand. So it's like you just have to attack the game, and like it'll start to come back to you real fast then, I think. But he just looks like those wheels are turning real fast right now.
And you're getting the New York pressure.
He made a nice play last night. He made a nice play on a double play ball that was hit really hard after the Rowdy hit. I mean, he kind of slid to his right and turned, and I mean, Jazz was so far off the base. But I mean, I don't know.
Hey, our buddy Trevor May has his show rolling live at a new time. It's going to be Wednesdays, 3 p.m. Eastern time, 12 o'clock West Coast. That's where Trevor is usually. And he'll be live right after FT. So you can just stay on that FT YouTube channel if you're watching there. And you'll watch Mayday on Wednesdays. It used to be Mondays. Now it's Wednesdays. Let's play a little what if. What if Bryan Buxton ended up on the New York Mets or the Atlanta Braves? I'm not just saying this out of the blue. Dan Hayes has done great work. I think he's working with Ken Rosenthal behind the scenes on this as well, both of them writing for The Athletic. This one from Hayes. Bryan Buxton told inquiring teams no. And then he put some other notes in that article as well. But let's focus on Bryan Buxton. A couple quotes here to start. So first off, he said, where I came from, your word means everything. My track record of how I'm still here and how I got here is different. You've got to have a lot of people behind you, not just the family, but everybody. Minnesota did that. That's home. He really started his campaign for him staying in Minneapolis at the All-Star game. He received a number of questions about if he could be on the trade block. And he's like, I could not, because I have a no trade clause. And I say no. So they didn't even entertain anything except for the phone calls that came through to Bryan Buxton's agency. I'm saying the Twins didn't entertain anything. Bryan Buxton's agency got a number of calls from teams who clearly were interested, and he told them the same thing. Don't waste your time. He's not going to waive the no trade clause. Now, here comes the social media storm. Kip, you do have fans that say the Twins just sold half their team away. They're going to be sold. There are some good pieces there, but why does he want to stay if he has an opportunity to join a contender? Now, not the Braves. The Braves aren't good this year. He's from Georgia. There were some connections there, but some other teams were interested as well. There were a number of teams that called. But for example, fans are like, why wouldn't Buxton want to join the Mets when they're in a playoff race and the Twins are not?
I can appreciate his loyalty. I can appreciate a man of his word. I can appreciate that he wants to finish what he started or build there because they gave him the chance. All that stuff. That's great stuff. And I know their front office appreciates that and loves that. But you look around that clubhouse, almost everyone's gone. Your ownership has kind of not gone for it when you have had good teams recently. So they aren't really about winning as much as you'd like them to be. If you just said he's from Georgia, let's say Atlanta was good this year. Every one of your starting lineup is pretty much gone. Atlanta's great this year, let's say hypothetically, and they're trying to trade for you so you can go home, play for a hometown team in a playoff race, and you're still going to hold strong on that. No, I don't get it. I guess I'd like to think there are circumstances that should happen where an answer should change. You would think as a player you would want to experience the playoff runs, the deep playoff runs, because that's what we're all trying to do anyways. So I don't know. I appreciate the loyalty, but I also don't understand why staying there when they're rebuilding it makes sense. That doesn't make sense to me, I guess.
Jim Bowden said it. He has a tattoo of the Twins logo on his back. He's not going anywhere, and it's his right. So, listen, as much as I don't know if I could be able to be as strong as Bryan Buxton and say I'm staying with the Twins, there is something cool about being with one team your whole career in one organization. So I can't fault the guy. Listen, he got the no trade clause, and he wants to stick by it. I mean, if you're a Twins fan, you have to respect that. And if you're a person in general, you have to respect that. So could he move on to a different place? He could. But he's comfortable. His family's comfortable there. He might have a place in Fort Myers. He might have a place in Minnesota. He goes from Fort Myers to Minnesota. His wife and his kids and his family is comfortable with that. So I can't fault the guy for that as much as people want to say, oh, he doesn't want to win. Oh, he doesn't want this. He doesn't want that. You know what? It's his choice. I'm sure there's people out there in regular world that work at a company and another company comes and offers them a little bit something better. And they're like, you know what? I'm going to stick with the company I'm with because I'm comfortable. And I have to give that guy credit because, listen, if I could have played for one team my whole career, I would have loved to have done it. But you know what? I wasn't that fortunate. If you're fortunate enough to do it, good for you, Bryan Buxton.
And clearly he likes the way they're treating him too, guys. I mean, he's happy with, the front office is usually, talked about very highly, right? Derek Falvey and company over there in Minnesota. Thad Levine, who was there for a while, he was just on our show the other day, known as one of the nicer guys in the sport. So it's not like he's in one of those disaster scenarios, and we all know they exist.
No, I'm saying I can appreciate absolutely everything that he's doing and saying. I do love it, and he's earned the right to make that decision for himself. I think he needs to get is it Javi Baez that has the MLB logo tattoo on the back of his neck?
Oh,
that way he's covered for any team that he goes to. So he just gets the MLB logo.
Yeah, unless you end up playing in a different league, right? If you're in the Mexican league or you're in NPB in Japan.
You're running out of ideas.
Did you play with anybody? Because I played with some guys in the minor leagues that got that tattoo, and I was like, what if you don't make it? And they're like, oh, make it, and they didn't make it. And I'm like, do you cover that thing with something else?
Javi had it before he was up in the big leagues, but I think he was on his way.
Yeah, he was a first rounder. I think he was going to be okay. This guy was like not. These guys were not first rounders. They were not. There was a guy that had it on his arm. There was a guy who had it on his neck. I was like, what if you don't make it?
It's good motivation because it's like, I have to make it.
Yeah, I have to. Yeah.
I got the tat.
It's not like the team. It's not like the team is like, oh, he has a tattoo. We need to send him to the big leagues.
What about this guy? He's tatted up with our logo.
By the way,
we're between these two players, everything's the same. This guy has an MLB tat. Take him.
By the way, I just want to say this for the record. So Jim Bowden told the story of Bryan Buxton. Eric Milton had New York Yankee logo on his left arm. I played with a guy. I think his name was Greg Hansen. I think that was right. And he played for like 9 teams. So down his leg, it started with the first team. And so he had to keep getting the tattoos all the way down his leg. So he ended up playing for like 8 or 9 teams. So he had them all boop, 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 all the way down his leg.
He's going to need a growth spurt if he gets
Guys,
traded again.
don't get a tattoo if you're not 100% sure, guys. Okay,
Yeah.
just saying. Especially of a team in baseball, because guess what they can do? They can get rid of you really fastly.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you have one, Kip?
No, I do not have a team logo.
No, there you go.
I'm
Hey,
saying
one more question.
They could get rid of you real fast.
Yes.
Right. One more question on this, because there's a guy who really is a legend in our sport. He's going to be a Hall of Famer, but the back half of his career has not played out the way he's wanted it to. What do you think about the Mike Trout example for Bryan Buxton, who's already cracked open his early 30s here, and you just don't get too many cracks at a World Series title? Does any of that factor in here, or you just have to have that goal that you want to win with the team that you're with, and you've got the no trade clause, you've got to overcome, what the desire is from outside, right? I'm sure Trout's thought about it too. It's been talked about sometimes in the offseason. It doesn't sound like he's ever pushed the team though. So I wonder if that's in Byron's head at all, because you just don't know, right? I mean, and he's had problems staying on the field. It's like you're thriving this year. There's teams that want you, that contend. You want to say no to Atlanta? Go for it. They're not in the playoffs this year, but you want to say no to the 3 or 4 other teams that were interested?
I'm interested to see when it's like a player can always tell kind of when they're nearing the end. So when the two of them maybe have like 2 years left, 3 years left, maybe, and then there's just no light at the end of the tunnel for the organization, I'm wondering if that you'll start to see maybe he starts to consider it more a Trout, just to give it a chance.
Okay.
But also, like AJ said, then you're at the home finish of playing your whole career for one team, which is really cool.
Yeah, it's just the ring desire, right? I mean, everybody wants
not
one.
Everybody wins a ring, Scott. Not everybody wins a ring. Kip didn't win a ring. I was fortunate enough to win one, right? Not everybody wins one, but listen, Joe Mauer didn't win one. He's in the Hall of Fame because he stayed with one team his whole career, right? I mean, it's kind of cool, right? To say that. Cool. Mike Trout's probably going to stay with the Angels his entire career. Pretty cool.
Basic math, though, is that if you're on a non-contender right now and they sold half their team away and then they're going through an ownership change and they might be good eventually, right? Like he's got a shot at winning with this new group, but percentage chance, I mean, you've got a better chance joining a contender now and rolling that way. It is what it is, but it's the choice that he made. That's all. Just presenting both sides. I actually kind of been in the middle on this one because I would be more critical if I felt like the player was on like an absolute disaster scenario team and he only had a couple of years left. Bryan Buxton should have, hopefully 5 or 6 years left in his career, and the Twins will definitely be able to bounce back from where they are. They were in the playoffs 2 years ago, and they're going to have a new owner, so I'm okay with it. Not that it matters. Coming up next, we're going to talk
not that your opinion matters.
That's why I said it doesn't matter, and I saved it for the end of the 15-minute conversation. Davy Andrews from Fangraphs joining us next to go over playoff percentage projections. All right, we're back. I have not been in the chat as much as I like to be. Usually it's been a little hectic day in a good way. Had some good breaking news at the front. Let's see. Clark said, was Trout promised ownership percentage with the Angels or something? Absolutely not. That is not part of baseball.
No, he wasn't. But again, it goes back to one team for your whole career, dude. I think that would be so awesome. I mean, Kip, you almost did it. You almost made it, Kip. You almost did it.
I should have just
retired. You had to go to that crappy Cubs. Then you went to the crappy Cubs and ruined it.
I did it. Well, I did Atlanta too after, or the Gwinnett team rather. I can't even say Atlanta.
Yeah, but you were a stripper, so that's understandable. Like if I could play for the strippers, that'd be kind of fun too.
I had a blast that year. Actually, I had a great team.
Do you wish you could have been with one team, Kip, or it's okay?
Listen, when I was with Cleveland, we were competing almost every year, so it was a perfect scenario. But if you're not competing, ask me, and like your friends and your teammates are getting traded away and no one else is there, I mean, ask me again, I might have a different answer.
Right. If you're on a crappy team, you want to go. You want to leave if it was you over a longer period of time.
Yeah, I mean, you got Jose Ramirez is doing it right now. He's loyal. He's doing the same thing, and they love him. Well, he's also unreal, but they Cleveland absolutely loves him, and deservedly so. So I mean, like some guys, you completely respect. Two things can be true. It is very honorable, respectable to do one team, the whole career. It's awesome, but also there's that if you're not going to be in a situation to win a ring or to chase something, or even in a playoff contention, why not go somewhere else? So I think both things can be true. That's why I think, Scotty, you're saying the same thing when you're in the middle.
Yep, exactly. Like AJ,
Yeah.
for you, I mean, good thing you didn't stay a Twin.
Yeah, well, they traded me. I didn't have a choice, Scott.
I know, but if you had the choice and I could whisper in your ear that in the future you'll be a White Sox and win a World Series title, I think you'd be like, I'm out of here.
No, yeah, but you never know. I mean, I was traded and I was, non-tendered and ended up in Chicago. So listen, we all have our journeys. And if there were times where I was a White Sox and I got to 10-5 and I think they would have probably liked to maybe move me, but they couldn't because I was a 10-5 guy. And then I've told the story on here when I was with the Braves my last couple of years, 2015. John Hart came up to me and goes, "What do you think about being traded?" I said, "As long as not to Seattle." And it came up that they were trying to trade me to Seattle.
Did you know that or not?
No, I did not. But it worked out because I did not want to go to Seattle. It was too far.
Davy Andrews joining us right now from Fangraphs for the first time on FT. Davy, great to have you on the show here, and perfect timing because we got past the trade deadline and now people want to know playoff percentage chances for their ball club. So how you doing?
I'm good. Thank you for having me. It's fun to be on. I see you guys' background, and I do not have the same house as major leaguers, is what I'm like.
Well, I don't either. I'm in a little apartment, but you can fake it till you make it all day, okay? Davey, tell me about playoff percentages that you wrote about in Fangraphs, how they vary, what goes into them, and what has stood out to you at the recent look at who could, crack the playoffs that could surprise us, or who could miss out that could surprise us.
Right. Well, so I would start first with just how they work. I mean, the biggest thing is they take your record and then they look at your strength of schedule for the rest of the season, and then they look at your projections. So we're talking about how good the projections think your team is. And so based on all of that, they spit out a number, the percentage chance that you make the playoffs. So like the Dodgers are at the top with 99.6% chance because they're in first place and because they're the Dodgers with a really good team. And then there are plenty of teams at the bottom with 0. So the reason I wrote about it yesterday is that I was looking at the numbers and I realized that this is kind of the most stratified the numbers have been in a long time. Like in the National League, the Reds have a 13.6% chance of making the playoffs. And then above them today is the Mets at 89.1%. So basically, the numbers think the National League is 100% settled right now. Obviously, I'm doing some rounding here, but I was looking at it, I was like, man, the numbers say this is the most boring postseason or stretch run since we've started keeping track of them.
Wow, that's crazy. So I will bring up what some will say, including Reds fans. Remember last year, the Detroit Tigers, what was their percentage chance of making the playoffs at this point?
0.2%. And you can buy a T-shirt with the Fangraphs graph that goes down, 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 all the way up at the very end. And you could also look at the 2019 Indians Guardians to bring it close to home here. I'm sorry, who a week from this point in the season were at 96%, above 96%, and didn't make it. So it happens all the time. I think when you hear a number like this and you hear it's like a 90% chance, you think, well, that means it's a done deal. But what it means is 1 out of 10 times the opposite thing is going to happen.
Whoa. Was Kip on that team? Kip, are you on that 2019 choke job team or what?
I thought we did make the playoffs.
All right. Well, then I feel less bad bringing it up.
Okay. All right. Well, that's amazing.
Yes, we didn't.
Well, so then this is just a percent, like everything has to go right or wrong for a team to make the playoffs? Because if you look at it right now, the Brewers are 99.1%. They have a nice, a small lead on the Cubs. The Cubs are 96%. But like kind of what Scott said, the Reds team is looking at like, hey, we're hot right now. We're playing really well. We made some nice acquisitions. This is more like if something crazy doesn't happen, right? This is just more of like textbook. Things just continue as they've gone for the first 4.5 months.
Right. So you can in my article I kind of broke down the pros and the cons for the Reds. And like you're saying, there's a lot of pros here. Like they're gonna get Hunter Green back, and they've got Ellie De La Cruz, who looks like he can just carry a team. And if the additions they made at the deadline work out, if Brian Hayes looks out at the short fence in Cincinnati and thinks, oh, maybe I should start lifting the ball a little to hit it over, like all of a sudden they're going to start rolling, and they could absolutely do it. But they also have, I think, the second toughest schedule the rest of the way, and they've had an easy schedule to this point. So some of the numbers that you're looking at may be a little rosier than the real picture says, and just the projections, like what the Phillies and Mets did a lot, and the Padres a lot, and so all of a sudden these other teams added to and added more, and so it's a tough road. So they're trying to factor in everything. Obviously, baseball is going to baseball. There's no way to predict everything, but this year did stand out just because the numbers are so stratified.
Davey, who's your team?
I mean, I'm a Nationals guy first and foremost, so they've been at 0 for a long time now.
That's fine. I mean, I'm a White Sox guy. They were at 0 before the year started, so I get it. I get it. But they did win a World Series in 2019. My question is the Yankees. Where were the Yankees at 6 weeks ago, and now where are they at? Because the American League has kind of shifted, right? The Yankees were dominating, and we're like, oh, the Yankees are close to 90%, whatever they were. And now what's their number compared to with like the Mariners, the Rangers, all these teams that have kind of jumped in front of them?
Right. I would say the Yankees are one of those teams who have seemed to defy gravity. Right now, they're at 78.8, which is down a little bit. You know, they have been really struggling, but the numbers, the projections are a big part of this, where they're looking at individual players and expecting them to contribute. And so if Aaron Judge comes back healthy, then all of a sudden that lineup is terrifying. If he doesn't, the projections can't really tell you that. So if Aaron Judge isn't there and hitting like Aaron Judge, then like throw this number in the garbage, basically. You know, all of this stuff depends on health and luck and short sample sizes, all things that can go either way at the drop of a hat. So far the numbers have really liked the Yankees, but when we're watching it with our eyes, it looks a lot scarier.
So let's transition over to the AL. What are you seeing from the playoff projection numbers there?
The Tigers still are in first. The Tigers look genuinely scary, and you know, I think once you get into the playoffs, they look even more scary. You know, with the way they rolled in the postseason last year, where just Scooble was unhittable, and they kind of scraped enough together. Their bullpen isn't looking quite as good, but I mean, they're at 98% right now. They've pretty much got the Central locked up. And then below them, it's a little bit of a mix. You know, the AL East is going to be a real battle, regardless of who ends up making the playoffs and doesn't. I think the AL East will be really fun. The Red Sox are on a run right now. The Blue Jays have been on a run, and the Yankees have the pieces where if they all put it together, those could be 3 really good teams down the stretch, and it should be really fun.
Kip, we got to ask about your boys, because no one's talking about them, but they're actually only, what is it, a game and a half away from a playoff spot right now? I don't know if the projections love them, but you want to present your
never loves them. It never loves them, because it's not like there's never been besides Jose, there's never been huge home run hitters that can really like switch it. That the statistical side, the analytical side loves to like kind of go off that.
And we should note that the projections tend to regress heavily on defense, which means when you're a good defensive club, they don't trust you as much, because they sort of expect defense to balance out. And so for a team like the Guardians who have some premium defenders, like that is a reason to look at the numbers with a little more suspicion and a little more hope.
I appreciate you saying a nice thing about the Guardians there.
I love the Guardians. I end up writing about them all the time just because they always have fun people.
I'm trying to think of AJ. Would you? Actually, you might be the wrong person to ask this question.
What?
Because I was going to ask. Because I already know your answer. I think. Would you ever look at something like this and give it any stock if you were a player playing?
No, absolutely not. Actually, that's not right, because I would be like, oh, we're only projected to win 72 games. Screw them. I'm going to try and win 100 games and be like, yeah, Fangraphs, you don't know what you're talking about.
Fair enough. I like it, though. No, every player's like, okay, well, good thing it's settled in between the white lines. Like, it's fine. We got this then. So I think you're right. That's the best way to use it then, if it's not telling you you're already in.
We've heard it brought up as bulletin board material before, Davey. I'm sure you know and can talk about it more.
especially from the Guardians for this very reason that, like they've had a lot of premium defenders in the past. And so the numbers have not trusted them, and they've just gone on some really fun, improbable runs. So yeah, I mean, I think if you're a player, I can't imagine looking at this for anything other than, bulletin board material.
Yeah, I don't know if you're talking about me with premium defenders in the past. Maybe my other guys in the infield, I thought, but
you had the pop. The projections love pop,
thank
man.
you. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Andres Jimenez had the glove there recently for Cleveland.
He's
until he
nasty
moved on.
defensively.
Yeah, he was. He was probably the best defensive second baseman for a year or two there. My question to you, Davey, is where do you think it's wrong, right? Where are you looking where either other numbers that you like tell you otherwise, or just the eye test tells you otherwise? And I'll stay on American League because, like you said, I'm with you. It's going to be hard to convince anyone that there's a better top six, and they've got like this real clean-cut top six in the National League, but it's not quite the case in the AL. So how do you see the AL playing out these next couple months?
Right. I mean, the big thing is the Rangers. Like right now, they're at 40%, and so that's a decent chance. But they'd have to dethrone either, like the Mariners, the Astros, the Red Sox, the Yankees. There are a lot of teams in the mix here, and I think the Rangers just look really dangerous right now. They have so many hitters who could get into shape, and so many pitchers who could really put together dominant stretches, like you saw Eovaldi last night, just completely shoving. I think the Rangers could really not only like close strong, but like look like a team that nobody wants to face.
Would you want to face Eovaldi and DeGrom in the postseason if you had to go 1-2 in a short series, in a 3-game series, and your first two starters you get are DeGrom and Eovaldi? That sounds like it wouldn't be a lot of fun, Davey. I know you're a Nats fan, so you get the Strasburg-Scherzer comparisons there, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I don't think anybody wants to face DeGrom ever.
Yeah.
True, especially when he's healthy. All right, so I have two quick questions for you. One, when's the last time the Braves were 0%? Our producer lady, Claudia, she's a huge Braves homer, so she's like, I'm crying about the Braves. So when was the last time the Braves were 0%?
Oh my God, I'd have to look it up. I mean, this is such a weird year, and even now, like you look at that team, and I mean, obviously it's different with Acuna gone, but it has been a while. I would guess it's been 5 or 6 years.
Okay, since I was there in 2016, I get it. It's
well,
cool, Davey.
I was looking because
Thanks for rubbing it in. I appreciate it. Thank you. Love it.
I did just before I came on at the years you were there, and I was looking.
They
for
were
some
zero
big swing.
They were 0 from the time we took the field in spring training. So I get it. It's okay. No big deal. The Nats were good then, so I understood. All right. So before we let you go, I have to ask you this. You have your soundboard up there. It looks like on your door. I know you play guitar, right? You play guitar in some bands.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What's cooler, playing guitar in front of a live crowd, or writing an article like this that 1 million people look at and read and trust that your numbers are correct?
Well, I think playing. I don't know. I would go with playing guitar. Here's why: because I didn't come up with these numbers. I am not. There are a lot of smart people at Fangraphs, and I am not part of that club. I can put the words down, but as far as the math behind them and explaining all of it, they're much smarter people than I am. So I got to go with the guitar.
Look at AJ. He did his homework.
Yeah.
Of course. No, this was his chance to pump his bands, and he didn't do it. So
I don't. You guys have had Petriello on. We play in a band together. So.
Oh, no way! I didn't know that. Yeah, I've known Mike for years. Awesome. We're in the band. That's really cool. Okay. Mm-hmm. Well, what's the band name?
We're the Subway Ghosts. We got a show next week, so if anybody's around in New York, check us out.
Okay, yeah, look them up. Subway Ghosts. I love that. Davey is he's a whatever you want to call it, multi entertainment threat, dual threat. Very cool, Davey. This was awesome. Thank you for joining us. Really appreciate the look into those playoff projections. As many people will look at them like these guys do and use it as bulletin board material or whatever else. So we appreciate the entertainment and the info from Fangraphs all the time.
My pleasure. They are there for people to shout about.
Yes, exactly. Right. Yeah. Criticism, welcome. Bring it. Davey, thank you so much. Appreciate it again.
All right. Thanks. Have a good one, guys.
You too. FT fans, be right back. That's what he said. Coming up next. BETMGM Locks, I'm not going to lie. I mean, I keep bringing up the guy who was calling out our picks the other day and it hurt my feelings. And so now I feel like I'm more dialed in. It's bulletin board material. Shocker. Cam won. Todd lost, which is rare. He's still up a ton, and I won. I'm starting to get hot. I should be betting a little heavier. I'm still down $100, but I've been hot. AJ's down. Everybody else is up, including Jason Kipnis, who is the leader of the entire bunch. He is a high roller. I can confirm. I've been in Vegas with him. These are the kind of bets that he places. $1,950 in the green, in the black, whatever you want to call it. It's good. Kip, how do you stay hot, and do you worry at all about where you're at right now and making sure that you're going to be in this 4-figure plus range for the rest of the year? No, of course not.
Scare money don't make money, Scotty.
Mm-hmm. So what are you doing tonight? What are you doing tonight? Make us some cheese tonight.
What are we pulling out of the hat tonight? We are going to go, I believe, the Mariners money line parlayed with Ohtani over 4.5 Ks. That is a parlay today, and I think we're going to do it for 500. We're going to keep the gas down.
Okay, so 500. So that's at plus 199. So someone else
plus 199. Yes.
Yeah, someone else smarter than me can do the math on that. But
someone at Fangraphs will do the math at it for us.
Yeah, exactly. You're looking at you're looking at a nice little payday.
Well,
995 is what I'm told.
Yes, that always yes.
Yeah, okay, but I just didn't feel like doing that. There's a lot going on during the show. $995, how much you would win.
I was told there'd be no math today.
Exactly. I'm told that all the time, and I'll mess it up. AJ, what do you got for us?
Miami education, Scott. It's easy. I'm just going runs today. I'm going a lot of runs. I need a lot of runs today. I'm going over 8.5 for both games, the Royals and the Red Sox, and over 8.5 the West Sacramento Athletics at the Washington Nationals. Over 8.5 in both those. That gets me to plus 250.
Boom. I like it. There you go. I like it. Okay. So now I'm starting to hang around the over-under action. So I'm going to do an alt over so I can get myself to plus money, plus 100 today for over 9.5 runs between the Padres and the Diamondbacks. Nestor Cortez, first appearance since April 3rd. And Anthony DeSclafani with a not-so-shiny mark on his side with the Diamondbacks, who traded away a lot of their team. But the Diamondbacks do hit left-handed pitching really well, and I could see them torching Cortez. So I could see both sides scoring some runs tonight. So I'll throw down on that one. And then Pap will give us his pick in a little bit.
Yeah, that's what he said.
That's what he said.
That's what he said.
That's what he said.
Brewers won again yesterday, shocker. But we're going to bring up a Pat Murphy quote to start off. That's what he said, because he is the manager of the best team in baseball right now by record, and Jason Kipnis played for him in college. So we'll get a nice little comment from Kip on the back end of this, because Caleb Durbin has been really good for the Brewers, but he doesn't always play every day. And fans are curious, media is curious. They ask Murph about it. And here's his answer verbatim. Whenever a rookie comes up, you have to, I think, kind of watch him and kind of pick some times to give him a few days to catch up. He's not happy about it, but I think there's reason to do that. The intensity of the major league season compared to what he's used to and the way he plays the game so hard. Plus, I mean, his legs aren't as long as everybody else's. So he's got more ground to cover quicker, more steps to take. I think he plays so damn hard and his attitude is so great that we just immediately assume he's fine. And sometimes with a closer look, maybe a few days gives him his legs back. So Kip, Caleb Durbin is listed 5'7" in the big leagues, and you've heard a few of these quotes from Murph over the days. He's tough, and he'll tell it like it is, but he'll also mix in a joke, and not everyone on the internet understands that, and I think it's great.
I think it's hilarious. I understand exactly what he says. It's always going to be a joke with a little bit of the truth sprinkled in. So that first sentence there where it's like, okay, we're just giving this young guy a chance to get his legs and kind of catch up a little bit. That was the truth. The rest of it is hilarious to me. Murph does a great job. He puts his players in a position to succeed always. He puts them in the best, and he is absolutely one of the best managers at being like a shield for his players. So while fans or anyone might be like, why does he have days off, to him or to the player himself, now they're talking about his quote, and Murph's like, I'll take the attention, so it goes off of that guy so he can just relax. He's one of the best ever to do that. And he's a clown. He's hilarious, but I love the way he does things.
So you said a little bit of truth of the joke. So was it a truth or a joke when he made Jeff Francoeur believe for a whole year that the guy was deaf on his team? Like, was that a truth, or which part of that was the truth? I just want to know which part of that was the truth.
Literally one of my favorite stories ever of him. I was mad I wasn't there for that one. There's numerous stories you can find with Murph, but like again, it's probably there's something behind closed doors where maybe he does need to get his legs back under him, or he needs a day or two to or whatever it may be. But I think Murph is just such a great shield for his players always.
No, yeah, listen, Murph is awesome. If you haven't ever talked to Murph, I've been fortunate to be able to sit in there with Euchre and Murphy and just listen to him, because there are times when you throw Vasallo in there, who's the PR guy for the Brewers, and they'll take shots at Vasallo, right? And then you're just sitting there listening, and you don't even get to ask a question until about 10 minutes in, and you're like, "Hey, can I ask something? Just one quick one." "Oh, we forgot you were even in here."
Yeah. What do you want?
Right? Yeah, exactly. And our Murph will start asking me questions like I'm the manager of the Brewers. So listen, they're awesome. And again, we talked about it the other day when he pulled out the pancake out of his pocket and Trisha Whitaker ate it on the air. I mean, come on. That's Murph to a T. He's awesome. He does things, I think, sometimes just for reactions, and it's awesome. It's funny. It's not ill. It's not mean. It's not anything ill towards anybody. It's just Murph. He's having fun. This baseball season's so long. Let the guy have fun. And he's a great manager. Listen, he's a great manager. And I had counsel the other day in his office, and I said, "Oh, you and Murph are going to play here soon." And he just sat back and he's like, "Murph is going to do something that's people are going to question, but I'll understand that it's a joke." And like you said, if he played for him, he knows him, and he's great for the game.
Well said.
He is. Yeah. And his team's really good. So I want to shout out that I think Andrew Vaughn's coming on the show with us tomorrow. And he had a nice little 12-pitch, 2-out base hit for the team that drove in a couple runs. I think that made it 4-0 at that point, and they won 7-2. Yes, Cam and Pilar hosting tomorrow, and Andrew Vaughn will join us.
So here's my question about Andrew Vaughn.
Before.
Is this the Andrew Vaughn that the White Sox were expecting? Or is this a new and improved Andrew Vaughn? Or which one is it? He just hot for a month, right? Like, I want him to be good because he's a good dude when you talk to him, and he's been through a lot with the White Sox. So, Kip, I'll ask you, because my family was asking me today, like, is Andrew Vaughn really good, or was he just not good with the White Sox? Like, what is it?
I think a different organization can definitely bring out the best of a player. We touched on it earlier in the show. So I think maybe he's relaxed, or maybe the situation just fits him better. Would you say that Chicago has a good situation for young players?
I'm not going to say anything.
So who knows?
He said enough. He said enough.
A change of scenery can always kind of I think, and this is just the way I would approach being traded or anything like that, a change of scenery. It's like, you want to make a good impression on your teammates and the coaching staff. So you're always doing the right things. You're showing up, and you haven't developed your routine. So you rely back as your routine being just doing every single thing the right way. So you come early, you hit early, you do everything you can to make a good impression and to make sure that you're doing all the things. So that's why I think when you change scenery, sometimes you might play better just because it has you kind of refocusing on all the little things.
Dude has hit the ball hard for years, AJ.
Yeah.
I mean, when he was making contact, that was a problem at times. So I don't remember the exact, but I know the media has talked to him, and it's like the Brewers telling him, "Hey, let's just make sure we're swinging at your pitch."
Yeah.
And then when you make contact, I mean, he's had big exit velo numbers for a while, and he can get lift on the baseball too. So that's why it's frustrating, AJ, for some fans. I know. I mean, there's many guys you can point to and say that, but the Brewers clearly saw something.
Of course, but they also sent him to AAA. He was in AAA for a long time too.
Yeah.
With the White Sox and the Brewers. So, I mean, it wasn't like they called him up right away. So, listen, here's the thing. Every organization is going to tell you something. Like they always tell Kip, I don't know how many hitting coaches you had in your career, but they're all like, get a good pitch, put a good swing on a good pitch. Like, no kidding. If I was that easy, I would never swing at a bad pitch, right? So they did something, whether it's comfort level, whether he wasn't a high pick with the Brewers, he was the third overall pick with the White Sox, a lot of expectations on him, bad culture, whatever you want to call it. When he went to the Brewers, something changed, and I don't know what that is. And I wish, when you guys have him on tomorrow, ask him, because I want to know. Inquiring minds want to know.
You got it, dude. We're going to ask him. Andrew Vaughn joining us tomorrow on FT. Slap Hands coming up next on FT.
What's up, my people of FT? It's your boy Parlay Pap coming to you straight off of a 3-leg hit, winner. So let's keep it going, baby. You know what I got today? I got the White Sox playing. So I'm taking the Mariners, and I'm actually taking Nestor Cortez in his debut with the Padres today. I feel like it's going to be a good one. He's going to step up for him. And, I mean, Mariners fighting for a playoff spot. White Sox are done. Got to go with Mariners. We at plus 136. We're going to put 100 on it. Let's win that 136 and let's get that Monday morning cheese.
Wait, what?
Cap's back on that fade game.
Wait, what?
Hold up.
What day is today? Wait, what day is today?
I've got Wednesday. What do you guys have?
I'm pretty sure it's Wednesday, but Pap, it could be Monday in Pap's world.
Yeah, but maybe he means you can use that cheese on a Monday morning, because when he was on Monday with us, he did a nice little toast, and it looked like it was an adult toast. So we were saying how every day is basically Friday afternoon when you get out of work after a tough week for Pap. So whatever you want to call it, it's Monday in Pap's world, which is really Friday afternoon in many
Pap's
other people's world.
Pap's not winning. He faded the White Sox. I thought he learned his lesson with that, but he hasn't.
We shall see. Locks are done. They're entered for us 4. And swing big on your next MLB parlay. Like if you want to tell Pap, you can use a parlay boost token to score a bigger payout if your baseball parlay hits on BetMGM.com or on the app. Gambling problem or concern? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. I think we got like 45 seconds for me to just mix in a couple notes that the research team sent us from BetMGM. They said the most money is on the Padres to win the World Series since the trade deadline, 23% of the handle. 33% of money, which is the most, is on the Padres to win the National League, and 29% of money is on the Mariners to win the American League. So the trade deadline made a major impact on the handle. Yeah. Shocker.
Who would have thought?
The trade deadline matters, at least to bettors. We'll see if it matters in real life. Obviously, Dodger fans.
To a bunch of teams.
Yeah, I agree. It does matter to a bunch of teams. Dodger fans are like, we're good. I mean, there's some real good trash talk going on, even from our Mason Miller conversation from the other day. But we'll see.
Max is back. They're fine.
Agreed.
Hey guys, stay tuned after this episode of Foul Territory for my show, Mayday, coming up at noon Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern Time. We're going to be talking about all kinds of great stuff, including rating all of the teams and how they did at the trade deadline, and a couple other fun things that you'll have to be there to see. That again is Mayday, coming up right after this Foul Territory.
It looks like Trevor's in the situation room, like he is in the room deciding what's going on the show and what's going on the cutting room floor. Mayday coming up right after FT. If you're watching us online, it's 3:00 Eastern for that one. And let's slap. We got a few minutes, so I want to do a few shout outs here. AJ, I like watching players, on their new team. So Zach Littell was great for the Reds. Nice pickup for them. Career high or season high for him. 8 strikeouts, 7 innings, 1 earned run. Nice win for the Reds. Gives them some rotation depth there. Spencer Steer with a big homer. Chris Paddock got beat up. He gave up hard contact that first start with good results. This time did not work out for him. Twins beat him. And then lastly, you mentioned it when we were in a break for the TV crowd. Max Muncy is back, and it's like they have their security blanket, the Dodgers. Yep. Not to mention he's good. He had 2 homers last night.
2 of them, thanks.
2 bombs, too, by the way. 2 absolute bombs. Yeah, listen, it's a thing. It's a thing. I'm sorry, like it matters. And certain, I mean, heck, we've seen guys get sent down that were traded for Sears and Bird. So I mean, not all these things work out. But here's the deal: the teams that went after it got the players they think are going to help them. And if it doesn't work out, at least you can say the GM tried. But by the way, I'm going to change the whole subject right now, and I'm going to ask Kip this because what's his name? Gavin Williams, the pitcher for the Guardians.
Yep.
Yeah, he's got a no-hitter through 7 innings, but he's at like 96 pitches. Will they let him go? That's what I want to know. I know we're
I hope
live.
so.
I mean, 96 is a big number, though.
I know, but they
97,
probably won't.
sorry. 97
Well,
through 7.
They don't have their closer anymore. So, well, they have
Where's-
Kate Smith. Class A's out.
What happened?
And
He got
I
hurt?
want to reiterate from before when I thought we'd made the playoffs. It was my last year. I forgot. I had we were 93 and 69, so it's not like we were a bad team. There's no third wild card, and I had broken my hamate bone on my last at bat for Cleveland, so I was out for the last month and a half, I think.
Man, you guys got worked. 93 wins and you can't make the playoffs.
You
like
got,
that.
you got the hamate scar?
No, I got
That
that.
hamate scar. Look at
There
us.
you go.
You
That's
know,
heartbreaking, Kip. 93 wins and you can't crack the playoffs.
So it wasn't like, yeah, we didn't like, I don't know, whatever choke job you guys were talking about before. Minnesota won 102 games that year.
Right. But my thing is now you have the third wild card. So those situations essentially will never happen. You're not going to have a 93 win team miss the playoffs, or not very often. We had an 89 win team, miss the playoffs in the Diamondbacks, but if you're getting to the mid 90s nowadays, it's going to be tough to miss the playoffs with a third wild card.
I was on multiple 90-win teams and missed the playoffs, so I mean, I know how Kip feels.
Yeah. So you're welcome, third wild card teams, for me and AJ.
As far as Williams, we'll talk about it if he gets the no-hitter tomorrow, and if he gets removed in a weird spot, we'll talk about that too. They're going to let him. I'm not watching this second. I will right after this. I'm sure they're going to let him pitch the 8th, and if it's a 5-pitch inning, cool. If it's a 15-pitch inning, we'll talk about it tomorrow.
Yeah.
Exactly.
This might be his one shot. Let him go, man. Let him go.
That's my opinion. That's my opinion on things.
I'm with you. Andrew Vaughn tomorrow, Kevin Pillar tomorrow, Cam Maben tomorrow. AJ, have fun out in vacation land, and we will see you next week. Kip, we'll see you soon. FT fam, we'll see you tomorrow.